Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more such videos.
Today we are going to talk about the 5 forces that are involved in a punch, be it any martial arts style. Now, what is a force in a punch? If you happen to see the force in a punch of a normal man, it could be anywhere around 50 to 100 pounds force, he might get it, an untrained person. But when it comes to a trained person, a professional sportsman, his force delivery, for example, let us see a Muhammad Ali, who was a boxer. He could deliver closer to 1,000 pounds of force. And similarly, the Mike Tyson is believed to have got it closer to 1,500 to 1,600 pounds force. But they being the heaviest people, carrying around some say 100 kilos, but can a light person who is having hardly like a 60 kilos, can he deliver that much of force is the question. Here comes the secret in the martial arts. That is, having an inferior body of a lesser weight, still you would be able to deliver and match a punch like the heaviest punch like what it was in the case of a Bruce Lee or so. Now, what is actually is the force is mass into acceleration. To get the kind of a force, I cannot keep increasing my mass, means my weight, my mass, I cannot increase. I have only one way of optimizing my forces, keeping the mass constant, I have to keep increasing my acceleration. Here the secret is my acceleration. How much you multiply the acceleration with the mass, that much you get it. Now in this 5 forces, what we use in martial arts, because we have to use certain biomechanics to deliver more effective punch. The very first force is the traveling force. What is a traveling force? The traveling force is, the traveling force is the mass that is moving. When it moves, it generates the force. The next one is we have a stability or an opposing force. The third one we have a twisting force, and the fourth one is a hip force. Apart from this, we have a 5th force also that I would be discussing later. Now coming to the first thing is the traveling force. Now how do we get traveling force in a punch in martial arts? Is that generally you people train from a horseback stance. Horseback stance, you will just stand like this, you will stand like this, and then you would be punching it, right? We generally see like this, like this, like this, like this. But the question is, you can't always use these movements, the punches, from a horseback stance, either in sparring or in a street fight. Please go and relax back. Because you must remember, for getting that particular acceleration, you need to have 2 components. Number 1, the distance between you and your opponent. Number 2, the biomechanics, the body mechanics, what you use. These are the 2 important factors. Now, in this horseback stance, for example, like when we have a duel and we are facing each other and he is trying to punch me, the problem is I would be able to deliver a straight kick to him because his body is exposed. The second thing is I would be able to just put him down. The reason being, he is being your horseback stance, so he is not supported anything at the back. He is vulnerable. The stance is very delicate. That being the case, now very first thing comes is a body positioning. So you use your body positioning, right? Now since we can't use these punches from a horseback stance or a Kimasagi stance or Kibadashi stance or from Mapu, but in actual fight, you may not get a distance like this. You could be this close, you may be this close, you might be positioned somewhere around here, you may be positioned somewhere around here, and you may be around like this. So, in correspondence with your opponent, you don't know in which position you are. For example, if you are this close, you don't have a distance. Now, the important factor is to get an acceleration, you need to have a distance to generate that speed. To generate that acceleration, you need to have a speed. You need to have a speed. But in the absence of speed, what happens if you are too close? You won't get the acceleration. Thereby, the punch force will be reduced. Now, what is the remedy? Like, let us see various body positions. For example, like how you are. Now, you are facing an opponent like this. Now, you wanted to deliver a punch and you are facing straight and you are very vulnerable. You can strike here. It can straight go, and his entire body line, right from his bridge of nose, his Adam apple, his windpipe, his sternum, his solar plexus, his groin, the entire center line is exposed, and similarly I am exposing my center line to him. Now in this condition, what happens? For example, if I wanted to deliver a punch, if I do like this, I am exposing. So what should I do? Now in this condition, the very easy thing is maintaining the same distance, right? I just step back. When I step back, I am delivering from the same place, but whereas I am keeping my thing away and the distance is not reduced. By just stepping back, what happens? I am keeping my center line away and I am defending myself. At the same time, by positioning a body like this, I am not reducing the distance, so I can get acceleration. Similarly, if in case I am this side, now what happens? If I am like this, I am this side, my distance between my hand and his body is very less. Now what do? I just use my other hand by stepping back. I'm here, now from this place, right? Okay, so I will be stepping back and punching. So what happens is, now from the side place, I can secure him. From the front place, I can secure him. Or maybe I am this side in the same similar fashion. If I am this side in the same similar fashion, I will be stepping back and I will be delivering a punch. So by positioning your body, be it here, be it there, we can just have a acceleration and we can also generate the space and the distance. Now next thing is, for example, like we are in a sparring hands like this. Now in this condition, what is the most important thing in the body positioning is, now I cannot use my front hand because my distance between me and the opponent is very limited. My distance between me and opponent is very limited. Now what I have to use is, I have to use my backhand. The backhand will have a more distance than the front hand. And while using a backhand, what you do is, slightly you shift your body along with your guard. Right? The similar way, now I am just keeping like this side, right? Now keeping this, I just shift little this side. So what happens is, by using backhand, I am creating a distance between me and opponent. By using front hand, I cannot get my distance. And here one more thing is that to increase the distance when his hands are up like this, I might use my hook. Use your hook that side. Now he is using hook. But remember, any movement that comes in a shape of a curve, While positioning your body, you have to be also concerned about your attack being blocked. Sometimes there will be a failure. One of the greatest failure is here we are not talking about a knife hand strike, we are not talking about a back fist, we are talking about a punch which travels in a straight line. Now what happens is once he is using that hook punch, it is easy to block. Come on, 1, 2, 3. It's easy to block. But an attack which is coming straight, it is very easy to penetrate. It is very easy to penetrate between his blocks. But whereas when you use a hook, it is easy to block. So don't use in an arc shape. Always try to follow your straight line. This is one of the important things. Otherwise, you can create a distance like this and like this. What else is another problem? Like when you are doing it like this, instead of a straight line, you are going like this and like this. You must remember the hands down. Now comes the question of here, the right angle. What is the right angle? Once a punch is delivered right angles exactly at 90 degrees to the opponent, the impact is maximum. But as you start increasing the angle, like instead of like this, I come like this, I come like this, I come like this, as my punch travels parallel to his body, the effect is almost zero. And it increases maximum as it comes to the 90 degrees. So since it comes 90 degrees maximum impact, now once you wanted to do a punch like this, the area of contact is this knuckles. We are not using a boxer's gloves here. Now once you go like this, what happens? You miss out the exact right angle contact. You miss out exactly the right angle contact, and only sometimes it may be useful once you do from bottom to top, that's also on the bottom of your chin here. But otherwise, the punches traveling like this won't be applicable on a plane of opponent's body. So this is what you have to keep it in mind. Once you are swinging your hands, you have to take care about the right angles of your punch. And next comes is a stability. In the stability, what happens is, now once he is standing in his frontal stance like this, the stability is minimum. The stability is minimum. I can just offset it. I can just, okay, I can just offset him in a destabilized position. But the moment like when he is pushing me like this, when my leg goes back, now my body is being supported by my rear leg. So I won't take that impact. I won't take that. So my body's stability is attained. So while taking any of the body positions, what you have to keep it in mind is the stability factor also. Like you cannot just say that like I'll go straight like this, create a distance and hit. You have to take a back stance or maybe a front forward stance for a stability so that you don't lose the stability. And here one important thing is, once you want to combine a distance and stability, one of the best stance that what you get it is, you come this side. One of the best thing that what we get it is, now I am here, now from this place, now I am doing it in a back stance, my stability is there, still it is not much effective. The best thing is, now I am here, I am just delivering it like this. Now from this place, as I step away from the back stance, as I step away, I get maximum impact. So prefer, it's not an aspiring, maybe in a street fight where you have to defend, you can use your front forward stance by just drifting your punch, right? Right? Okay? So you can just use it like this. So you can just shift and then come back. You can just shift and come back. You can just shift and come back. You can just shift and come back and shift. So the shifting here gives you the maximum impact. And another important thing is, you also have to see for the clearance. The clearance means how you can penetrate the punch between his hands. For that reason, the leg, the knee, your toe, your elbow, your hand, and your shoulders all should be in one line to penetrate it so that you get from the back leg support. Because you can just get away from his hands and then deliver a punch. So these are the things like what you have to keep it in mind once you are going for a traveling force. The travel that gives you the force, these are the things you have to keep it in mind. I think you understood the very first force. Basically, what we are using is a traveling force, and for that we require to have acceleration or speed. For getting acceleration, we require to have a distance, and we need to have a biomechanics. For the distance, we are positioning body in various places as I had explained you, and in that we always have to make sure that we are in a straight line and never prefer a curved lines, mostly straight lines. In unavoidable circumstances, maybe you can resort to using a curve, and the body stability should be kept in mind once you are using your movement. Then always the movement should be right angles. The more they are right angles, the better impact you get it. Then finally is that see for a clearance of movement that penetrates into the opponent. Also see that you yourself defend your own movement. Keeping all these things, you can do a better movement, better punch to get a maximum force.